Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Top 5 Teams of Blood Bowl 2020. This segment is actually taken straight out of the podcast, episode 51, that aired on Saturday. So if you've already heard the podcast, you have already heard this segment. If you're going to watch this segment for the first time, why not try the podcast? It's available on all podcast apps, or the whole thing is available on our YouTube channel as well. Link there, I think. Anyway, I will leave you to it. Enjoy our Top 5 Teams. So we've got the new edition of Blood Bowl. We've looked at team builds, we've looked at skills, we've looked at leagues, and we are ready to give our first impressions, or I suppose it's our second, because we did that winners and losers episode, didn't we, Ben?
Yeah, that was good fun.
For the teams. And we're going to look at what we think individually, based on our own opinions. Let's get that in there now.
It is our opinions. This isn't conclusive.
But
Probably wrong.
We do want to know your opinions because Ben and I've got a slightly different list here. What we think the top 5 best teams are going to be in Blood Bowl. Now, didn't set any more caveats to that, but I think I have kind of based it around 1 million to 1,100. I think probably maybe 1,200. I'm looking at that league. I'm not looking at, well, actually, Nurgle are amazing at 1,700. Good luck. Good luck enjoying Nurgle to that point now. But yeah, so this is going to be, for me, top 5 best teams initially between 1,000 TV and 1,200 TV. Ben, you about the same?
Yeah, I've kind of just considered it. In all, kind of factored in everything, the new SPP system, what it could potentially unlock. Just in my mind, what I could consider being potentially quite good.
the top 5 teams you really least want to play against, no matter what you're doing. is probably,
yeah, maybe.
It's probably fair. Right, so let's start at number 5. And Ben is starting us off, and Ben's number 5 team is...
It's Undead.
It's Undead.
Yeah, historically a pretty good Blood Bowl team. Usually, number 1 and 2 kind of competing with Wood Elves, you often see them. They've done really well in our tournaments. It's just pure solid, and I don't think they really lost anything in Blood Bowl 2020. I think they kind of only gained. We mentioned the SPPs and the big guys. On mummies, that they're pretty great. Your mummies are going to get real scary. You can take your whites are going to get good. We mentioned the abilities to like level up your blitz as well. Your whites might even want to stat up. They're going to become pretty scary. Yeah, I just think everything in this team is still really good. I don't think they really lost out on anything whatsoever. They, the only thing they really lost, they really cannot throw. But when did you ever throw on an Undead team?
It was only like the risky stretch play when you really needed to, and the ghouls are still passing on 4+, so you've still got the option, and your ghouls are really going to do the ones that do the stuff with the balls, and you've got whites as well. So Ben, I agree with you completely, and in fact, my number 5 is also Undead.
We didn't plan this. That's good. Good start.
So for me, Undead are great. They've got strength, they've got speed, they've got cheapness. You can buy most of the stuff. You can start with 2 whites, 2 ghouls, 2 mummies, I think. Can't remember. Did the video a while ago. Don't remember if you get 2 ghouls. I think you do. You get to start with a proper team, and they can be piloted very well. And if you line this team up against any team, you're going to feel like it has some advantages. If you line them up against Wood Elves, this team can murder them. If you line them up against Skaven, this team can murder them. If you line them up against lizards, it can dodge them. It can murder some others. Like this, Undead will give you a really solid brawl. They've got no downsides apart from agility 4+ on their linemen, which they always had. So yeah, Undead, I think absolute power team, top 5 easily. Not the best of top 5, but still better than 15+ other teams. So
yeah,
Undead
there were a lot that were competing for this spot. I will say I was really debating between a few because I think a lot of teams are pretty good now.
I think the top 8 are actually, it's a real cluster.
Yeah, it really is. I think we're even seeing. We mentioned. Oh, maybe that's too spoiled. We'll talk about it at the end. We'll talk about it at the end.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to number 4.
Yes, so for number 4, I've chosen humans. Pretty vanilla. I think even in the new rules, they said they're tier 1 now, when they used to be a solid tier 2 team.
They have.
And
They
I
have.
think that's pretty good because they have a really good thrower. Their catchers are really good. Their blitzers are solid. And
And you get
overall, the
4 of
team's
them.
yeah, and you get 4, yeah. And overall, the team's pretty cheap. They now have a halfling, so you can throw teammate with your ogre who can, get strong arm really quickly if he wants to. So that's a pretty solid option. Yeah, they've just. I feel like this team was already kind of a sandbox team, and now they start off with better sand and a bigger box, and they can just build to anything now. We mentioned you can build the team you really want with the SPP system.
Yep.
I think that just gives you so many possibilities with humans. You can make a real bash team if you really want. It's going to be really scary. It's going to undercut the cost of loads of other teams. Yeah, there's just some really good options for these guys. You're going to get your strength 4 a lot less often though. So we mentioned your strength 4 blitzers are going to be awesome.
Very much
Very
so.
rarely seen.
Yep. And your
Yeah,
Edge 4 throwers are going to get less as well. However, they're
But
already
they already
Edge
throw
4.
on 2+.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
You're exactly right. So humans got a solid level up. And
Yeah.
historically, humans were never a gimme. Okay, never once did you line up against humans thinking easy, like easy. No. Humans have always been a brawl. Now, like Ben said, actually, their thrower got a stat boost, kind of.
Yeah.
And I just think. I think the team is going to perform a lot, and it is cheap enough for you to take everything you want. They are not starting out. They don't start missing anything. And it feels like they are hitting, they're starting 100k above a lot of other teams. It just feels that way. It feels like they've got 3 games already under their belt. They've got 4 blitzers. They may have an ogre. If they don't have an ogre, then they've got a heck of a pass game. Humans are going to be a very good team, and I think that's great because everyone likes humans. Everyone starts with humans or orcs, and for humans to now be a solid team, if not the tier 1est of the tier 1s, still earn tier 1 status, I think. And I think we're going to see great stuff from human teams. So Ben, that is an excellent pick. Let me consult the list to remind myself which one I went with for. Really? Did I really? Oh wow, okay, right. My number 4 is Dark Elves. So there's going to be bias in this list. So Dark Elves have historically been in the top 3 teams of Blood Bowl, probably top 1/2. Okay, I think they are still very, 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 very good. And the SPP system changes are going to help because, like I said, actually, if you just save up a few touchdowns, your blitzers are getting guard reliably. So your Dark Elves got more murdery, but their ability to stretch play really has lost it. And they are slow. I mean, they're not slow, but movement 6, movement 7, they've got no 8, 9 catches. They've got that. They cannot. They have to work for a turn 2 touchdown. Okay, they can do it in a straight line, but if you throw in some spread defense or something, they're going to have to blitz through that line. It's going to take them 3 turns to score. So Dark Elves are a medium speed team in my book now. Yeah, and that is because they don't have that stretch play. Historically, you could chuck a Dark Elf, you bust through, you've got a lineman just loitering a few squares into the other side, and you've got that stretch play. You don't anymore. Only the runner is passing on a 3+, which is garbage now. That's 3+, 4+, 5+, 6+. So now, it's my number 4 team, right? You've still got a ton of Edge 2+ players. You've got 4 blockers. You've got Witch Elves you can buy. But you don't start off with them. And that first 1 million to 1,200, you're looking to pick up your second Witch Elf and your third reroll, okay? They are not packing the full Dark Elf punch until you hit 1,300, and without that passing play, they can't necessarily elf themselves into success like they used to. So I love Dark Elves, and they are very cool, and they are very, very, very strong, but they are not as uber as they used to be, and I'm a little scared I'm going to get stabbed by an assassin now. I don't know. What do you reckon, Ben?
I think it's a solid pick. It's similar reasons to humans. Dark Elf team is kind of like an expensive human almost. Because they have the 4 blitzers, they got don't quite have the speed of a human team, but yeah, they got some similarities. Yeah, I think it's a really solid pick. I think they really fought for the top five for my list. But yeah, it's I've faced against Dark Elves, and they're always a team. You mentioned humans, it's never a easy game. Dark
Yep.
Elves is always going to be a difficult game.
Historically,
And
I've
yeah,
always
like you
felt like
say,
I was fighting uphill against Dark Elves. Dark Elves is always like,
yeah,
ugh, Dark Elves, that's going to be tough. But it's going to
yeah,
be tough because they always used to be able to counter the fact that their linemen move 6, their blitzers, their fastest players are movement 7, with the ability to chuck the ball 3 squares on a 2+. Anybody could do it. Now, nobody's doing that. Like, the best you
yes.
got is 3 squares on a 3+, and that's if your one runner hasn't died already. So that stretch play knocks them down a spot for me. So Ben, who is your number 3?
For me, it is Lizardmen. We spoke about them a fair few times in the SPP thing because they really don't want to be getting their random skills. The Edge one does hurt a lot of their options for that. However, they're still movement 6, strength 4 guys, which in a world of Blood Bowl where strength 4, movement 6 people are going to be extremely rare, they're going to really put some work in. They have stunty guys, but their stunty guys are very, very good stunty guys. They're movement 8 stunty ones. Like, they just sort of do what other teams do better. The chameleon skinks leveled up through the roof.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, I feel like this team is just going to be a real powerhouse. You can choose your skills now, so you're going to be getting your Saurus leveled up with what you want all the time, and
it boosts the stunties in that regard as well. So
yeah,
you can save up 12 SPP easy on a movement 7, movement 8 stunty to get sure hands if you want it. Like, you're going to get it.
yeah. And skinks famously score a lot.
Yeah.
Like, they can score pretty well. So you're going to get touchdowns a lot.
So you're going to be able to grow that team. Yep, nope, I love it. I think that's a very fair shout for your number 3. My number 3 is Wood Elves. I am going there already. So Dark Elves at 4, Wood Elves at 3. And quite frankly, it's for very similar reasons. War Dancers are still fantastic, and when it comes to League, like we said earlier, save up for a stat, just do it. It's going to be great. Like, it's just not going to go wrong. They are expensive. You start with nothing. 2 War Dancers, 2 rerolls is basically what you're getting. Maybe something else spicy, but not a lot. Your throwing game has hurt. Now, Wood Elves, they can still do horrific shenanigans. They all move 7, 8. Like, that. This is a fast team, okay? But they are a fragile team, and they are an expensive team, and they can pull off shenanigans in the olden times, and they cannot do it now. They cannot do it. They are still a horrible team to play against, and those War Dancers are going to be really tough. But once the War Dancers are gone, the Elf team is less good now, which is lovely. It always used to be, if I've got 3 Elves, I can still score a touchdown. Well, now you probably aren't going to be scoring as many touchdowns. You're not going to have those 4 touchdown games. It's going to be 2 to 3 touchdowns. And I think you've got a window of opportunity here to knock Wood Elves off. So if you ran a human team against a Wood Elf team, it would be a game. And quite frankly,
would, more so than it used to be, especially at that early on.
You're exactly right, Ben. That's it. Quite frankly, Wood Elves against humans, I'm taking Wood Elves 3-1 on that one. I don't know who the coaches are. I don't know what the roles are going to be. I don't know how many blitzes are going to get rolled. And that is another element that we haven't really touched on, is that blitz isn't going to carry you like it used to.
It's not.
You're not going to have that blitz. You're not going to have that pass. They're going to have to work on being a fast, agile, running/flying team.
It's kind of spoiler to my. Yeah, kind of spoilers my top 2 because Wood Elves didn't make my list, and it was kind of, your sort of roster talk and all of that. It really does hurt. Like you're saying, you don't start with a lot. Your guys are all armor 7. They're just going to crumble.
Hang on.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't make top 5 for your list.
They didn't make top 5, and they really considered it. I really considered it, but I just think they're still Wood Elves. They're still going to crush, especially tournaments. They're going to be awesome. I just, maybe it was out of principle. It's nice to see Wood Elves not be top 5 in something.
Oh, I completely get that. Okay, so that was our top. That was our number 3. Ben, who is your number 2?
I said Wood Elves didn't make the list, but other elves did. And that's Elven Union, so that's
wow.
we've got
Okay.
the 3 elf teams.
So
Yeah,
Pro Elves, Elven Union are rated as tier 2. Wood Elves are rated
I
at
know.
tier 1. Ben here, going for gold here with a tier 2 team at number 2 best team. Sir, explain yourself.
maybe it's optimistic, but we mention this a lot on the winners and losers, and I've sort of like gone through some rosters, and I've seen, we were recording this not long ago. The Elven Union roster video came out, and you can get, where the Wood Elves start with nothing, you can do a lot with a starting Elven Union team.
Yeah, you
And
really can.
they're cheaper and cheaper enough in the fact that you can maybe lose an elf and not cry.
Well, that mixed with the fact you're going to be scoring quite a lot, you get
Yes.
extra gold than you used to.
You do. In the same, they're not quite as versatile as humans, but they start off all Edge 4, so they're not going to be. And your catchers are strength 3. Elven Union catchers are, really deadly. And in this, when your passing game has leveled up to an extent, and the Elven Union thrower is nuts.
I think that. Well, yes, okay. I'm I'm quoted as
maybe I'm
claiming
just
that.
fawning over the elf players.
Well, I got called up on it. I think on our 2020 rosters, on our winners and losers thing, where I just claimed every single thrower was the best thrower in the game.
Yeah.
The best thrower in the game, in my opinion, is coming up, but the Pro Elf guy is right there. I mean, Edge 2+, Pass 2+ with Pass. Movement 7?
Movement 6, I think movement 6 on the Elven
garbage,
Union team.
absolute garbage piece. Wouldn't even bother. I'd take a.
But
I'd
it
take a
catches with
hefty.
nerves and catch,
But no, you're exactly right, Ben. So I will put links in the show notes to the Elf Union starting roster. Actually, the whole playlist. The 2 blitzer mix, 2 blitzers, 1 thrower, 1 catcher, 7 linemen, 3 rerolls. That you get, like Ben said, you get stuff. Max catcher build, 2 throwers, 4 catchers, 5 linemen, 3 rerolls. You're just going to have a great time. They're all going to die, but you're going to have a great time.
I think it was the next one, which I really like.
2 reroll mix, 2 blitzers, 2 throwers, 2 catchers, 5 linemen, 2 rerolls, 1 box. Everybody, 1 box of elves, 980. So you can take 2 dedicated fans there as well, or just save up for that apothecary after game 1. You get stuff. You get major stuff. And Ben, you're right.
Yeah, you don't have blodge, but you do have pretty damn good blitzers with armor 8 that'll stay around.
Two touchdowns from a blitzer, and you get blodge step immediately.
Exactly.
And you might, you're leaping as well as a war dancer, and by 14 SPP you can have a blodge step, armor 8 leap war dancer. But he's a bit slower. But actually, that movement 7 versus movement 8, it is a big difference. But armor value 7.
Catches are 8, so
well, yeah, I was just gonna say, but armor 7 versus armor 8 is actually
exactly.
probably a bigger thing. But
Yeah.
the big thing is that those blitzers on the elf team are passing 3+. So you get up to 2 throwers on a 2+ pass, 2 blitzers with 3+. So those blitzers are sweet. Movement 7, blodge, sidestep, armor 8, 3+ passing, 2+ agility. Underrated, seriously underrated players there, and you get guard. You can buy guard on 12 as well. So
you can.
They are going to be real strong, but passing game and excitement, Elf and Uni, I think are going to be. Yeah,
I think
Ben,
watch out. I think they could overtake Wood Elves. I think they could. I'm optimistic.
it's that cost, isn't it? Like you said, you can take 2 war dancers, or you can take 2 blitzers, 2 throwers, and 2 catchers. It's just, oh man, I need to paint my pro elves. That's that is brilliant. Right, my number 2 team is Skaven. So you guys will know that I love my Skaven. There's a face. I've got my gutter runner right here because I forgot to put him in the box. I love Skaven, and there is probably bias in here. But I was looking through my list and I was like, this team against this team, what do I reckon? This team against this team, what do I reckon? And, historically the edge in the Wood Elf / Dark Elf versus Skaven build game has gone to the Elves because they've got that stretch play. Now, their stretch play is just as good as mine, and my players are far cheaper. Yes, the armor's worse, but my roster comes with 11 players. 4 of them are movement 9, edge 4, dodge. 1 or 2 of them are throwers who've got passing 2+, and I've got 2 blitzers who are great. They're just human blitzers with tails. Like, my team here with Skaven comes with 3 rerolls. It comes with 4 obscenely frustrating players in the gutters, and my thrower is, in my opinion, up there as the best thrower in the game. Comes with sure hands, movement 7,
yeah, definitely,
passing 2+, sure hands pass.
They are, yeah.
I'm just right. The elf is good because agility 2+, but I mean, from a statistic point of view, Ben, picking the ball up on a 2+ is worse than picking it up on a 3+ with sure hands. Now, the sure hands skill tends to. I hate sure hands. It's the worst skill in the game, but statistically better. If you want a pocket passer, technically the Skaven thrower is the best thrower in the game, in my opinion. But if you want an agile thrower, then yeah, the Pro Elf passer probably gets you there. But Skaven have it all. I played my game. I played Skaven versus Wood Elves, and I really felt like I had the edge there, guys. And
yeah,
my players were just as strong as his. They were just as fast as his. They couldn't dodge as well, but quite frankly, it didn't matter because my thrower was throwing better. My catchers were catching and running better. Just Skaven have that edge, and they are cheap. They are cheap. They're
so cheap.
They're human price. Okay? Well, they're not human price.
Yeah.
Technically, you get an extra player out of humans because they are 1 player cheaper. But I would rather take gutters and just filth my way through. Now, amusingly, I think that Skaven versus human is a bad matchup for Skaven because humans are stronger and they can bully them because they've got the player count, they've got the attrition. But Skaven can outscore, and I think when it comes up to something like a Wood Elf versus Skaven, the attrition is going to be the same, and my ability to score is now better than Wood Elves. And I just think they are going to brew up great guard, horns, claw. And, at 1150, you get the Roger in there as well. At 1150 for a Wood Elf team, you've just about got your 3rd reroll. That is hyperbole. I realise that by that point, you've got a thrower and a catcher as well. But, my Roger's going to eat them. And I just... This is a power team. It is the Skaven Master Race. Yes, we are going for it. And I know that they've only ranked my 2nd best team, but it's a very good time to be a Skaven coach. It's always been a good time. And I know you can't get Edge 5 gutters, and I know they don't do everything anymore, but that just makes it better because it's fairer. So it's like, you know what, guys? Let's play a fair game of Blood Bowl, and I'll still rat you to death. Skaven, my choice, number 2. So it comes down to it, Ben. The big ones. Yeah. You go first. Who is your number 1 team?
May as well leave it on the screen, Ben, because I put Skaven at number 1.
Yes!
Yeah, they really snuck forward. It was, like you said, you played against them Wood Elves, and you said, you think they had the edge, and they've always been really up there. Let's be honest. Skaven have been a great team all the time. We've seen them be a real threat in tournaments. We've seen them win leagues, and they got better. They did just get better. I think the Rat Ogres are even more likely to show up now. You mentioned the Rat Ogre at 1150.
Yeah,
I think there's arguments to just bring him in the starting one.
I mean,
in your main,
there's a couple of really good Skaven builds. The classic, thrower, 2 blitzers, 4 gutters, I think is the better one.
Yeah,
but you can easily afford the Roger build. I think you get 2 blitzers, 2 gutters, a Rat Ogre, and a thrower.
Yeah,
that's fine. Like, you can work with 2 gutter runners. Believe me, you can work with 2 gutter runners,
and you still have more than one of them. And it's going to hurt a bit more when they get killed, but you have a Rat Ogre to do that first. So yeah, I mean, just so solid. Like all the arguments I made for elves and humans, like you say, I said the pro of catcher, the pro of thrower is great. The Skaven one is better. I would agree with you. But on record for me as well, I would say the Skaven thrower is the best thrower
Best
in Blood Bowl
thrower.
2020, which is cool because he throws the ball with his tail. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, Rat Ogre build 985, 2 blitzers, 2 gutters, 1 thrower, 5 linemen, 3 rerolls. There you go.
Yeah,
I
and that is scary.
that wow, is it the Rat Ogre's time to shine? I mean, I know that the new wild animal, the always murdery skill or animal ferocity or something, is going to hurt you. But I don't know. I like the idea of selling a line rat down the river to get my blitz for sure. Like, big guy blitz is always risky. Not going to spoil the YouTube show, but it is always risky. When you, I would sell a line rat to auto do it.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean, I don't know if you get SPP for casualtying your own player. I think you should, but
the arguments I gave for humans apply to Skaven and more, because I think, Skaven are kind of, especially at that kind of build, it's kind of like a human team in terms of the build. Your blitzers, you got a couple of blitzers, a couple of catchers, kind of, they're not as advanced as Skaven ones.
I really wish Skaven could take 4 blitzers.
Yeah, exactly.
That
would be too much.
Just be over the top at that point. They would just I like everything about Skaven. They've been my favorite team for a very long time because they're just great. There you go.
They are.
They're just great. Quote
fun.
us on it.
They look good. They look good. They're funny. It's great.
All right, then let's go to my number one. And my number one is Lizardmen. So I know they appeared on your list at 4, I think, Ben? 5? No, 5 was Undead. 3. Okay, lizards. Yes, we've gone through this episode, and yes, the Saurii don't get great random skills. But as I talked about there, I'm very, very, very confident I can win a lot of games if I've got 6 strength 4 block guard pieces. If that is my floor, this team is OP. And then you've got the Croxagore, who is just one of the best big guys out there. Definitely top 3. And, break tackle sucks now, but that's okay because you've got 6 big guys in theory. Now, they are expensive. It is an expensive team, and you're either starting, I think, with 6 Saurus or 4 and a Croxagore. Okay, so you get... Okay, so let me rephrase that. You are starting with either 5 or 6 strength 4 or 5 players.
That's nuts. Yeah. Like I said before, in a universe where strength 4 players are a rarity and a luxury.
Yep. That's it now. You're going to have less rogues, and when it comes to tournaments are going to be 1100, 1200. You're going to get that third reroll. You're going to be able to get the majority of your lineup at that point, and then you're really cooking on gas because, in my opinion, Skinks got better in general because they can now control their builds. Like you said, Ben, they can save up their SPP. If you want a skink with a specific skill, you just save. They're going to get the touchdowns or they're not. No more are you going to be like, oh, I've got another skink and another skink with sure feet. Like, sure feet is great, but I'd rather skip sure feet and get block,
Yeah, exactly.
Or something else, you can take it. And then you've got the chameleon skinks who win comeback player of the year, in my opinion, when it comes to Blood Bowl, because they were pointless. They were great models, but they were completely pointless with the little Lego hands. And now you got a quarterback in the Lizardman team. You got a front line made of 6 big guys, and the best stunty players in the game. They are Skinks and Chameleon Skinks are now the 2 best stunty players. I'm a big fan of Snotlings, but I think
we've had a discussion before with like the new stunty, sort of stunty plus. You've got these guys, and you've got the Black Orc goblins, which are kind of like goblins just a bit better because they survive a bit easier.
Yeah, ever so slightly.
But these guys learn leaps and bounds over other stunties, right? Like, they're more than stunty plus. These are proper players.
This is right. Skinks have always felt like proper players. They've always felt like vulnerable players, but they have always been proper players. Dude, Chameleon Skinks have got passing 3+. You've got a passing 3+. This is the best passer in the game. No, it's not. But but look, you've got on the ball. with this movement 7 edge 3 piece. So you get 3 free squares of movement. Whether he's on the run, okay, so you don't have to collect the ball. You don't have to move closer. You can switch sides. You can go wide. You can sneak him into the wide zone. So you've got 3 wide. You've got on the ball. So if you've got 2 chameleon skinks, okay, you can only do it with 1, but you've got the potential there. Then where you can control the SPP, you can build them. Randomly, they can get strength skills. I mean, I probably wouldn't bother, but they can get passing skills. They can get general skills. So I don't think that a sure hands chameleon skink would be a bad player at all. And I just... Oh my goodness, skinks can get they can get everything. GPS on secondary as well, so you can have your guard skink if you want. So what it does is it means you've got 1 or 2 chameleon skinks who can. You've got stretch plays. You've got stretch plays. These guys have the same. If he's got better stretch play than Dark Elves. Okay. Yeah, they're agility 3 instead of agility 2, but these guys are dodge stunty. They're 3+ with a reroll forever. Okay, if you're dodging into 1 tackle zone with a Dark Elf, they are now dodging worse than a skink. You know, you can stunty your way through stuff. They've got that integral dodge. They've got a 4+ pass. You've got muscle. You've got stretch play, and this is my number 1 team in Blood Bowl 2020. I think it is going to be overall the best team, but it's so close. It's so close. I mean, let's put Undead against Lizards. I think that Lizards have a bit of an edge, but it's not a gimme. It's only 5%. It's a 55. It's not a Brexit margin, but it's a little bit more. Yeah, you know. But you know, you put Lizards against Skaven. That's always been a really tough matchup. But there's an edge there to Lizards.
I couldn't tell you who would win in that. You know, Skaven might score more touchdowns, but Lizards are going to crush the hell out of them. They might even score more touchdowns. He's still got
the Wobble 4 final. I can tell you that Lizards won, and it was 3-2, and it was close. And
but they didn't have throwers throwing on 2+.
I mean, throwing is a bad idea, but throwing got better for Skaven. But quite frankly, throwing got better for Lizards because they don't have that stunty modifier anymore. I mean, it's easier to intercept a stunty now because they're stunty, but that historically a stunty was throwing a quick pass on a 4+. Everyone else's passing got worse, and the chameleon skinks got promoted with kickoff return and agility 4. So yeah, I think we're going to see awesome stuff from Lizards, and I think the most important thing to take away here is that an all skink team is now fun. I mean, it's aggravating that you have to buy like 7 boxes of Lizards, but an all skink team.
You probably buy boxes just skinks, couldn't you?
Well, yeah, I know, but they're smaller.
Warhammer skinks.
They're smaller.
Yeah, they are
ridiculous. Yeah. So that is it for my number 1 team. So I'm very happy with our number ones.
I thought it was really good fun. Yeah, it's good fun making the list, but like we said, it's so close. I even said to Ben, I really want to put goblins up there because I think they're doing really well, and we thought, let's actually go for what we think our top 5 best ones will be. The
best teams are. Now, I think when we were chatting earlier, Ben, we said that the pack was quite close. I actually think that teams 1 through 3 are almost inseparable, and I think 4 through 8, so the couple of ones that didn't make the list. Well, actually, I think it's really close. So you had humans and pro-elves on there. I can't remember which teams you didn't have on there. Don't know if you took Dark Elves and Wood Elves.
Pro-elves at 2. But
there you go.
Undead and humans.
I think that top 8 is now really close. And historically, it was like, Wood Elves and Dark Elves. Now it's, this is a game. That is...
we even discussed like Pact and Underworld maybe squeaking into that top 8 because,
Underworld, tournament-wise, I think Underworld are going to be great. I think League, I don't know if they're going to be as... I don't think they're going to have quite the pop because you only get 1 of each positional. And I think they're going to be missing for some games. In a tournament that's Resi, so a Resurrection tournament, you're always going to have the gutter. In a League, you're not always going to have the gutter, so you are going to be a little bit below the curve. But on the fun scale, I think Underworld are definitely there, and I think that maybe that's what we need to do as the next top 5 is either the top 5 worst teams or the top 5 fun teams in Blood Bowl 2020, which might actually be the same list.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's brilliant. So, guys, thank you very much for hanging with us and watching. Do let us know what you think your top 5 are, what you think of our top 5, whether I'm right, whether Ben's right, whether we're both wrong, and really, most importantly of all, who is the best thrower in the game? Because I'm there with the Chameleon Skink now.
You change your mind.
And the Hefty. The Hefty is the best thrower in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely love it. But we'll wrap up the show for here now. So, Ben, thank you ever so much for joining me and for chatting up some Blood Bowl nonsense again.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to getting some games in.
Oh, man, it's going to be great. And thank you ever so much for joining us. We will catch you again soon.